Have you ever felt a smile that didn't quite reach the eyes? A compliment that left behind a subtle sting? Envy and falsehood rarely announce themselves. They lurk in the shadows of flattery, selective support, and quiet sabotage. The most dangerous deceit isn't the outright lie, but the disguised pretense of goodwill. In a world where appearances often mask intentions, recognizing these hidden threats is crucial. Envy erodes trust. Falsehood distorts reality. Left unchecked, they can poison relationships and shake our inner peace. But how do we see through the veil before damage is done? Stoicism, a philosophy built on wisdom, resilience, and virtue, offers us a way forward. It teaches us to observe without illusion, respond without impulse, and stand firm in the face of manipulation. By sharpening our perception, we not only protect ourselves, but also cultivate deeper, more authentic connections. In this video, we'll uncover 10 key signs of envy and deceit, helping you navigate the complexities of human nature with clarity and strength. Stay with us as we explore these Stoic insights, because wisdom is the best shield against unseen threats. Now, take a deep breath, center your thoughts, and let us begin. 1. Barbed compliment. Envy rarely announces itself. Instead, it hides behind carefully chosen words, subtly designed to diminish rather than uplift. One of the most insidious forms of this is the barbed compliment, a remark that appears to be praise but carries an undercurrent of doubt or criticism. Imagine you've just received a promotion and a colleague tells you, "Wow, that was lucky, but I'm sure you'll do fine." On the surface, it sounds supportive, yet beneath the words lies an implication. Your success was not the result of skill or effort, but mere chance. This is not admiration, it is resentment, carefully disguised. A Stoic understands that such remarks are not reflections of our worth, but of the speaker's insecurities. Envy often arises when another's success serves as a painful reminder of one's own perceived shortcomings. But as Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The key to navigating barbed compliments lies in self-awareness. A genuine compliment is sincere and specific, recognizing effort and achievement. A false one is vague, backhanded, and laced with subtle criticism. Recognizing this distinction protects us from internalizing negativity disguised as praise. The world thrives on comparison, measuring worth against fleeting external validation. But a Stoic remains steadfast. Our value is not dictated by the envious whispers of others, but by the integrity of our actions. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. By mastering this awareness, we rise above envy, unmoved by the disguised resentment of others. We learn to stand firm, unshaken by hollow words, and guided only by the unwavering compass of our own virtue. 2. Selective support. True support is revealed not in moments of triumph, but in times of struggle. Yet, envy and falsehood often hide behind selective support, a form of conditional encouragement that masquerades as friendship. These individuals appear to celebrate your successes, but when hardship arises, they vanish. Their loyalty is not to you, but to the benefits your success may bring them. Imagine a colleague who enthusiastically congratulates you on a promotion, yet remains silent when you face a professional setback. Or a friend who eagerly shares in your victories but is nowhere to be found when you need emotional support. This is not friendship, it is opportunism. A Stoic knows that true friendship is built on virtue, not convenience. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, It is not what a man says that defines him, but what he does. A person's true nature is revealed in their consistency. Genuine relationships are based on mutual respect, honesty, and steadfast support, not fleeting validation tied to self-interest. Selective support is often rooted in envy, when your success feels like a mirror reflecting another's perceived shortcomings. But a Stoic does not waste energy on the bitterness of others. Instead, we use this awareness to cultivate relationships based on integrity. When you recognize selective support, do not respond with resentment. Instead, adjust your expectations. A Stoic does not seek validation from those who withhold it, nor does he lament the absence of insincere allies. Instead, he fosters deep, meaningful connections with those who stand firm through both victories and defeats. The question is simple. Do you surround yourself with those who value you for who you are, or only for what you can offer? The path of Stoicism calls us to choose wisely, because true friendship, like virtue, is rare and worth preserving. 3. The body betrays. Words can deceive, but the body rarely lies. In both ancient times and modern life, we encounter individuals whose speech is polished, but whose actions tell another story. A handshake that lingers too long, a smile that doesn't quite reach the eyes, or a stiffened posture. These subtle cues reveal the truth beneath the surface. Imagine someone congratulating you on a recent success with enthusiasm, yet their gaze flickers away. Their expression seems forced and their arms remain crossed. The words are warm, but the body is rigid. This silent contradiction often speaks louder than anything verbalized. Envy, resentment, or insecurity leak through in ways even the speaker may not realize. A Stoic understands that these inconsistencies are not reflections of us, but of the other person's inner turmoil. When faced with such contradictions, we are not to react impulsively or with frustration. As Marcus Aurelius wisely reminds us, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Instead of allowing their discomfort to disturb our peace, we observe with clarity and detachment. This is the power of Stoicism, mastering our own perceptions rather than being swayed by the falsehoods of others. We cannot control their envy, but we can control our response to it. Rather than confronting them or internalizing their resentment, we acknowledge it for what it is, a reflection of their own struggles, not our worth. In today's world of superficial interactions, learning to read body language is an invaluable skill. It helps us navigate relationships with discernment, protecting ourselves from hidden hostility while maintaining our inner calm. Epicurus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By observing with wisdom, we guard our peace and remain unshaken by the insecurities of others. So, the next time someone's words and actions don't align, pause, not to judge, but to understand. Let their contradiction be their burden, not yours. A Stoic sees, but does not absorb. 4. Poisons of comparison. Envy often disguises itself in the form of comparison, a slow and corrosive poison that erodes the foundation of genuine relationships. When people measure their worth against others, their focus shifts from personal growth to an endless, unwinnable competition. The result? Insecurity, resentment, and the inability to celebrate another's success without feeling diminished. Consider a friend who congratulates you on an achievement, only to immediately highlight their own accomplishments in a way that turns the moment into a contest. Instead of genuine celebration, the interaction becomes a subtle battle for superiority. This is not support. It is rivalry masked as encouragement. Comparison turns relationships into competitions, making success feel like a threat rather than an inspiration. From a Stoic perspective, comparison is not only destructive, but also a distraction from true fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." The moment we focus on how we measure up to others, we abandon our own journey. True contentment is found not in external validation, but in personal virtue, discipline, and self-mastery. As Epictetus wisely noted, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. When we allow comparison to dictate our happiness, we become prisoners of desire, always chasing what others have, rather than appreciating our own growth. Envy thrives in this space, feeding the illusion that another's success somehow takes away from our own. But a Stoic knows this to be false. To break free from this trap, we must shift our focus inward. Instead of competing, we cultivate gratitude for our own progress, no matter how small. We see others' successes not as threats, but as testaments to human potential, proof that achievement is possible for those who persist. In today's world, where social media constantly bombards us with curated versions of other people's lives, this challenge is greater than ever. But Stoicism offers a powerful antidote. By focusing on our own efforts, detaching from external comparisons, and aligning with our values, we build a foundation for lasting peace. Our journey is our own. And when we truly understand this, we can celebrate the victories of others without allowing them to shake our sense of self. 5. Seeds of discord. Envy rarely strikes directly. Instead, it works in whispers, in half-truths, in words meant to divide rather than unite. One of its most insidious forms is the quiet sowing of discord, the subtle, deliberate act of turning people against one another through gossip, rumors, and quiet manipulation. You've likely encountered this before. A colleague, a friend, or even an acquaintance begins making offhand remarks about someone else's abilities, choices, or character. Have you noticed how they always seem to take credit for things? "I heard they didn't really deserve that promotion." These statements, often framed as harmless observations, do more than just plant doubt. They erode trust, weaken relationships, and create an atmosphere of quiet hostility. A Stoic sees these tactics for what they truly are, not reflections of the person being targeted, but of the insecurities of the one speaking. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "The best way to avenge yourself is not to be like your enemy." When faced with gossip, a Stoic does not engage, does not amplify, and does not allow envy to spread through their own words. Instead, they choose silence, or, better yet, redirection. Picture a workplace where someone subtly undermines a co-worker. They question their competence in small ways, casting doubt with well-placed skepticism. The team begins to distance itself from the target. This is not coincidence, it is envy taking root. The Stoic response: refuse to feed the fire. Instead of joining the chorus of negativity, we redirect the conversation toward fairness, truth, and unity. The practice of Stoic detachment allows us to rise above petty division. Gossip and envy thrive when we lend them our energy, so we choose not to. Instead of tearing others down, we strengthen ourselves and those around us by fostering understanding, honesty, and respect. This is the Stoic way, to be a force of stability in a world eager to divide. 6. The siren song of flattery. Flattery is the sweetest of poisons, pleasant to hear, yet dangerous if swallowed without caution. In both ancient and modern life, excessive praise is often a tool of manipulation rather than genuine admiration. A Stoic understands that not all who praise us have good intentions. Imagine a colleague who constantly calls you a genius or a visionary, even when your work speaks for itself. At first, it feels validating, but soon you notice the praise lacks substance. It is vague, exaggerated, and often appears when they need a favor. This is not admiration, it is influence disguised as appreciation. Seneca reminds us, "A true friend is not one who always praises you, but one who corrects you when needed." A Stoic values honesty over empty flattery. Excessive praise often signals hidden motives, whether to manipulate, gain favor, or make us dependent on external validation. The wise response? Accept genuine compliments with gratitude, but never let them distort your self-perception. If praise lacks specific acknowledgement of effort or achievement, pause and reflect. Is it sincere, or is it a means to an end? Flattery preys on ego, and the moment we crave it, we become vulnerable to deception. Epictetus warns us, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." A Stoic remains steady, neither swayed by criticism nor intoxicated by praise. In an age of social media, where likes and compliments flow freely but often lack depth, the ability to discern false praise is more vital than ever. Do not seek validation in empty words. Instead, focus on what you can control: your character, your actions, and your principles. This is how a Stoic builds true strength, unshaken by the fleeting approval of others. 7. Diminishing your light. Envy rarely confronts us directly. Instead, it operates in subtle ways, through casual remarks, faint praise, or seemingly harmless comments designed to make us doubt ourselves. When people feel insecure, they may attempt to dim your light just enough to make their own seem brighter. Imagine receiving a well-earned promotion only for a friend to say, "Wow, that came out of nowhere. You got really lucky." The words may sound innocent, but beneath them lies a quiet attempt to undermine your success, to frame it as chance rather than effort. These remarks, though subtle, can linger in your mind, making you question whether you truly deserved what you worked for. But a Stoic knows the truth. The opinions of others do not define our worth. Epictetus reminds us, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When faced with an attempt to diminish our achievements, the Stoic response is not anger, but clarity, recognizing that such words reflect the speaker's insecurities, not our reality. Instead of internalizing these comments, we must affirm the value of our efforts. Our success is rooted in discipline, virtue, and persistence, not in the fleeting judgments of others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If we let envy distort our perception, we give others power over our self-worth. In a world obsessed with comparison, especially on social media, it is easy to measure success through the lens of external validation. But Stoicism teaches us to rely on our own internal compass, remaining steadfast in the face of false praise or subtle dismissal. Surround yourself with those who celebrate your success genuinely, and let go of the need for approval from those who seek to undermine it. By staying true to our path, we protect ourselves from the corrosive effects of envy. We rise above it, not by diminishing others in return, but by standing firm, knowing that our worth is defined not by what others say, but by the strength of our character. 8. Broken promises. Envy and falsehood do not always reveal themselves through direct confrontation. More often, they creep into our lives through subtle patterns of unreliability, where words and actions fail to align. One of the clearest signs of dishonesty is when someone consistently breaks their promises. You've likely experienced this before. A friend who always cancels at the last minute with vague excuses. A colleague who repeatedly promises to help but never follows through. At first, you may give them the benefit of the doubt, believing their intentions are good. But over time, a pattern emerges. Trust erodes, frustration grows, and eventually you begin to feel that your time and energy are not valued. But here is the Stoic truth. Their unreliability is a reflection of their character, not your worth. As Epictetus teaches, we cannot control the actions of others, only our response to them. If someone repeatedly fails to honor their word, the Stoic response is not anger, but clarity. Recognize the reality of who they are, set boundaries, and adjust your expectations accordingly. Think about a time when someone let you down. Did you take it personally, or did you see it as a lesson? A Stoic does not waste energy on resentment. Instead, we redirect our focus toward those who embody reliability, integrity, and consistency. In the end, broken promises reveal more than just a lack of commitment. They expose a lack of virtue. The wise response is not to demand change from the unreliable, but to invest in relationships built on trust. Surround yourself with those whose words and actions align, and you will cultivate a life rich in meaning, free from the weight of false promises. 9. Whispers of intuition. In the intricate dance of human relationships, intuition is a quiet yet powerful guide, a whisper in the back of your mind, signaling when something isn't quite right. Even when words sound supportive and actions appear kind, there are moments when your instincts tell you otherwise. A handshake lingers too long, a smile doesn't quite reach the eyes, or a compliment feels rehearsed. This subtle discomfort is your inner wisdom speaking. Stoicism teaches us to trust both reason and intuition, to observe without illusion, but also without paranoia. Seneca reminds us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. This is why a Stoic does not react impulsively to a gut feeling, but instead steps back, reflects, and gathers evidence. When intuition warns us of dishonesty or hidden envy, our task is to watch, listen, and discern before drawing conclusions. Picture a workplace scenario where a colleague praises you excessively. The words are flattering, yet something feels insincere. Instead of dismissing this feeling or immediately assuming the worst, the Stoic approach is to observe patterns over time. Does their support waver when you no longer serve their interests? Do their actions align with their words? By combining intuition with rational thought, we sharpen our ability to detect manipulation without falling into unnecessary suspicion. Modern Stoicism calls for awareness without paranoia. Intuition is a tool, not for hasty judgment, but for deeper understanding. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When we refine both instinct and intellect, we gain clarity, protecting ourselves from deception while cultivating authentic, meaningful relationships. A Stoic does not ignore the whispers of intuition. We listen, we reflect, and we act, not out of fear, but with wisdom and confidence. 10. Boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are acts of self-respect, essential for emotional well-being and the health of our relationships. Yet, envy and manipulation often surface when others disregard them, subtly or overtly, testing the limits of our patience and energy. You may have encountered this before. a colleague who constantly asks for favors without considering your time, a friend who expects you to always be available, or someone who pressures you into saying yes when you mean no. At first, these behaviors may seem harmless, but over time, they drain your energy, leaving you overwhelmed and unappreciated. A Stoic understands that protecting one's peace is not selfishness, it is wisdom. Epictetus reminds us, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Just as we guard our physical resources, we must safeguard our emotional reserves, ensuring they are not depleted by those who take without giving. The first step in setting boundaries is awareness. Recognize when your limits are being tested. Then respond with calm assertiveness, not out of frustration, but with clarity and strength. A firm yet compassionate refusal is not an act of cruelty, but of balance. In today's world where social media, work and relationships constantly demand our attention, learning to say no is an essential skill. Marcus Aurelius teaches, "The best way to avenge yourself is not to be like your enemy." This means we do not allow others to manipulate us, nor do we become resentful. Instead, we stand firm, choosing where to invest our time and energy wisely. By embracing Stoic self-discipline, we cultivate relationships built on mutual respect, free from obligation or guilt. Boundaries are not barriers to connection, they are the foundation of healthy, fulfilling interactions. When we set them with wisdom, we move through life with greater confidence, strength, and peace. Recognizing envy and falsehood is essential to cultivating genuine, fulfilling relationships. By staying aware of subtle signs, backhanded compliments, selective support, or quiet manipulation, we protect our peace and navigate life with clarity. Stoicism teaches us to respond with wisdom, not impulse, strengthening our resilience and sharpening our judgment. If this insight resonated with you, let's continue the conversation. Like, share, and comment your thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss new ways to apply Stoic wisdom to daily life. Stay grounded, stay true, and I'll see you in the next video with even more powerful lessons to help you live with clarity and strength.